You know, our crew is not like your crew.
I can't breathe and I catch my breath.
We don't need PhDs and fancy tech.
What is going on, guys? This is Cinematic Central. My name is Chris, and this is my review for Twisters. So, this is the standalone sequel to the 1996 summer blockbuster Twister that starred Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton. So now we have this sequel coming at us 28 years later, and it stars Daisy Edgar-Jones, Glen Powell, and Anthony Ramos. Daisy Edgar-Jones stars as Kate Cooper, who is a storm chaser who unfortunately loses her team to a horrific tornado, with the exception of Javi, played by Anthony Ramos. And so 5 years have passed. She's now working behind the scenes in New York City until she is approached by her old friend Javi, who tells her that he has some equipment that he wants to test out that will allow a tornado to disappear and be able to gather data for it. At first she's hesitant about it, but then she changes her mind. She goes to Oklahoma with Javi, and there she meets Tyler Owens, who played by Glen Powell, who is a YouTube tornado wrangler. And so you have this team that Tyler is with that basically does it for thrills. And then of course you have Kate, who's kind of teaming with Ramos and this new team that they're trying to collect the data and everything on the tornadoes. And so now you have these two teams that are kind of have two different goals. You have one that does it for the thrills and one that does it for the science. So pretty soon they're chasing these tornadoes and trying to accomplish what they want to accomplish. I remember hearing about this, and I was actually kind of excited because I was wondering when we were going to get a sequel to Twister, and thinking that maybe Helen Hunt was going to come back, and do a Twister 2, And then I think they scratched that whole idea. And so we got the trailer for this, and we had gotten, an idea, the announcement of who was going to be in it, Glen Powell. And at that time, I didn't know who Glen Powell was. And so I had a good idea about who Daisy Edgar-Jones was. And then we saw the trailer for it, and I was actually pretty excited for it because I love the first Twister. I did a review on it. I'll have a link for that at the end of this video. But yeah, I love the first Twister. I have a lot of nostalgia for it. I saw it in the theater, really enjoyed it. And so I was actually kind of excited for this. Starting off with the positives. As I said, performance-wise, you have Glen Powell. He's fantastic. He brings that usual charm, that charisma that he does so naturally. Daisy Edgar-Jones, I think she's fantastic. The chemistry that she has with Glen Powell, I think, is really, really good. I like the direction that it kind of goes when it comes to their characters and this, little dynamic they have. I think Lee Isaac Chung, who is the director here, who directed Minari, I really like what he did here. He didn't go for just nostalgia bait and everything. He wanted to do his own little thing. He wanted to keep it fresh. And I think he did a really good job here, especially with some of the other characters besides them. The emotional depth that this movie kind of brings when it comes to the characters and the situations they get in with these tornadoes. And as far as and then you have some of the side characters. I think, of course, Anthony Ramos, has a pretty big part here. I thought he was good. I thought he was great, especially I love the direction they went with his character, because at first it seemed like, they were going to go one way and then decided to do something different. I'm like, you know what? That's cool. I like how they kind of ended up that way. And so I really liked his character, but I think some of the other ones that are more side characters, I think are real standouts. Brandon Perea, who plays Boone, I thought he was great. He was a really good standout. He's basically like the cameraman for Owen's team. And then you have Ben, who is a reporter from London. I liked his character too. He's actually a pretty good standout as well. He's actually kind of delivers some of the funnier lines, and I thought he was great, and I loved how his character, he's just a reporter. He's not used to that kind of environment, so it was really cool to see that he kind of stuck it out through the entire movie, um, I really like some of the side characters, and that's what you want in a movie, is that you want to like the characters, so when they're in these bad situations, you kind of you don't want them to die. So there is one character I think I would consider to be unlikable, and that's one of the newer guys that's working with Hobby and Kate on this new team. He's kind of a dickhead when it comes to dictating orders and shit. So yeah, didn't like his character. Also, the action sequences involving the tornadoes and the actual situations that these characters get in, I think it was done really, really well. To be honest with you, I was afraid it was going to be a bit more CGI heavy, and honestly, I didn't see a whole lot of CGI to me, in my opinion. And the only CGI I can think of really is just like toward the beginning was with Dorothy, which you actually see in the trailer, and when the sensors are flying and sensors are flying out in the tornado at the very beginning. And that's the only CGI I can think of, but everything else was actually done really, really well. And so it's a visual spectacle, to be honest with you. It's actually really good. For me, honestly, I'd say it's on par with the original. I'm not saying it's better, and it's not less than. I think it's right there with it. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this movie. If I was kind of mixed on it though, I would say that it doesn't. If you're nostalgic for the original, there's not a whole lot of a connection to the original in this movie, aside from like some of the Easter eggs and stuff. There's Dorothy, that you see at the beginning, but aside from just the idea, the concept of tornadoes, that's the only connection they have. That, and there is a cameo by Bill Paxton's son in here as well, so be on the lookout for that. But my only real negative, to be honest with you, really, is just the idea of character of people driving into tornadoes. Just doing stupid shit like that. I get that I get that you're doing it for science. You're risking your life to help people, and the idea of just driving into a tornado is just dumb. And then you really kind of have to suspend your disbelief on what you see. And honestly, this is a point that somebody had pointed out in another review, and I totally agree. When I saw this, I was like, yeah, that's not gonna work. I mean, realistically, when you're driving, you park right into a tornado, and then you deploy your auger bits into the ground, thinking it's gonna hold your truck down. Yeah, that's not going to happen. That tornado is going to blow that motherfucker away. And so, yeah. And then, of course, when it comes to, being a YouTuber, that's what Tyler Owens plays a YouTuber. And so when he's on camera and he has music playing in the background, that shit's going to get copyrighted all to hell. So, yeah, you don't do that shit. Overall, this was a blast. I had a blast with this movie. Great performances from Glen Powell and Daisy Edgar-Jones, Anthony Ramos. Great visual effects. Just a hell of a good time. If you love the original Twister, I guarantee you are gonna love. I think you're really gonna really enjoy this. Again, like Twister, like Independence Day, this is one of those movies that just needs to be seen in a theater. Because, like I said, the visual effects, the sound, I thought I've done really well. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm praising it all to hell. Like I said, I had a few nitpicks with this movie, but other than that, great summer blockbuster, definitely. I know this movie made like $123 million over the weekend, which makes it the highest grossing opening weekend for a natural disaster movie of all time. So that's great. I know the budget was like between 150 and 200,000, or 200 million, excuse me. 150 200 million, so it's pretty close. It's got there. It's not It's pretty close to its budget, so it's got to try to it's got to at least double that. So it needs to try to make it at least 300 million to break even. So, but yeah, great movie, great summer blockbuster in my opinion. Definitely needs to be seen in the theater. If you haven't seen it yet, highly recommend checking it out. But that's just my thoughts on Twisters. If you like this, hit that subscribe button. Comment down below if you've seen it. What did you think of it? Don't forget, I'll have a link for my Twister review that I did a few days ago. Be sure to check that out. I love you guys. You guys are the best, and I will see you next time.